Hello, friends. 28th April 1988, 1 o'clock. In Hawaii, Aloha Airlines Flight 243 was ready to go on their flight. It was a very nice day. There was a lot of sun and most people were here to celebrate. If you don't know, this is a group of islands in the Pacific Ocean which is a part of America. They are very beautiful islands and their capital is Honolulu. This flight actually went from Hilo to Honolulu. Hilo, the southernmost island of Hawaii. But this distance is not much, it's a 35-minute flight. A routine flight. The Aloha Airlines are the local airlines that connect all the islands. Now because these distances are so small, this specific plane had already been 8 times in the air that morning. It had gone on 3 round trips, but this is not unusual. For such planes, this is a normal thing. Everything should be going as it should be. Passengers board, the flight doors are closed, and it's 1 minute and 25 seconds that this flight is flying. There is just one unusual thing here. When a passenger was boarding the plane, before entering the door, he saw that the plane's body had a different sheath that was rivets attached. So in one sheath there was a crack. But he didn't tell anyone about it, thinking, what difference would it make? It's a reputable airline, this plane is constantly flying, it has regular inspections. If there was a problem, they would notice. It would have been a small mistake. But this one mistake was so heavy, no one could even think about it. After the plane's flight, it was only 10-15 minutes the air hostesses take a trolley and gave the passengers a drink. The seatbelt sign has not been removed because it usually gets to the point when the plane reaches its altitude. And this plane, the cruising altitude was 24,000 feet. There are 3 air hostesses who are serving passengers drink. And after the flight, after 20 minutes of flight, this flight reaches 24,000 feet of cruising altitude, and as it reaches this height, there's a big fire comes. All passengers hear a lot of noise and suddenly rapid decompression begins. They start to take a deep breath and the whole thing starts to fly around. Total chaos and tremendous confusion. What is happening? Some passengers look around and see the plane's roof and the surrounding walls around. They can see the open sky. What happened, friends, is that the initial part of the plane's 35 square meter part had been removed. Now, as a result, the thing is, airplanes, cabins, always pressurize the air so that we can normally breathe, or else at 24,000 feet, the atmospheric pressure gets very low. The air becomes thin, and we can't normally breathe that high. That's why airplanes have a pressurization system that pumps and regulates the air. If this system gets damaged and the airplane is at that altitude, then in emergency case, the oxygen masks are being dumped. You've heard of the safety briefings, they always say. In the event of loss of cabin pressure, oxygen masks will drop. In oxygen masks, typically, 15 to 20 minutes of oxygen, which is the time when the pilot has to bring the plane down and to take it to an altitude where it can normally takes a deep breath. This has been 10,000 feet. In our story, what happened in Flight 243, oxygen masks fell down, but the oxygen mask system was not working. Because the plane's roof was broken, the oxygen mask system was also completely destroyed. People immediately started to fear hypoxia. This is the condition in which your body will not get sufficient oxygen. Then you can be in a coma and you can die. Within seconds, people started to get in trouble and it started to get a bit of confusion. In such a case, it took 1 to 2 minutes to get in a coma. Michelle Honda, an air hostess who was near the RO-15 when this explosion happened, tries to contact an intercom, but the other side, no answer comes. The second air hostess, CB Lansing, who was serving a drink to a passenger in row 5, when the roof was in the plane, he was also flew out of the plane. The third was with her colleague Jane Sato, was in row 2. She fell on the floor, a luggage was on her face. Michelle, when it comes to her, there was a lot of noise everywhere. When Michelle didn't find an answer from the pilots, she went to a passenger and asked the passengers, "Do you know how to fly a plane? Do you know how to fly a plane? Do you know how to fly a plane?" The passengers, after listening to them, got more scared. They were asking, "Are you even asking us to fly a plane? What's the deal with pilots? If the pilots are not there, we will all crash."